Doctors in the Federal Capital Territory commenced a 3-day warning strike over unpaid salaries, allowances, and other demands. The strike has grounded activities in most government hospitals here in Abuja. The president of the Association of Resident Doctors, FCTA, Dr. George Abong, says that in a press release today that himself and his colleagues are going on strike, and this comes after a 3-week ultimatum issued last year by the doctors as a lapse. And speaking on behalf of the RLD, Dr. Abong decried the neglect of hospitals and doctors' welfare in the nation's capital. He stressed that doctors in Abuja have become abandoned projects, calling on the Minister of the FCTA Nyesom Wike to intervene to avoid an indefinite shutdown of hospitals. The president of the Association of Resident Doctors in the FCTA, Dr. George Abong, is live with us right here in Abuja. So, Dr. Abong, thanks so much indeed for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Good evening. Thank you for inviting us.
So, you and your colleagues did not go to work today?
No, we didn't work today, but we were at the hospital.
Today, but literally as a show of your agitation that you are not happy with the treatment you are getting from government. Is that right?
Yes, chronic treatment.
How long has this gone for?
Some of the demands 4 years now, 5 years.
And this is typical to Abuja, the FCTA.
Well, these particular ones have been typical, that's correct.
So we imagine that NARD, that's the National Association of Resident Doctors, a few years ago, and some of us followed through because we do know how important the medical facilities and medical services are in the country. And hearing that the FCTA, that is supposed to be a beacon of hope for medical services, education, and the rest, is having a problem. Can you give us an idea of exactly what the problems are?
Okay, so thank you so much once again. And let me put it this way, that it is embarrassing that we keep talking about the same thing over and over again. This didn't start yesterday. I mean, some of us, our demands have lingered for 4 years, 5 years, 3 years. We have some of them, for example, we've got some of the doctors that have not been paid the 6-month salaries, and they worked for it, and they are still working. We've got some hospitals that were working, that they are not conducive environment for us to work. We have severe shortage of manpower, where you have a doctor doing the job of 5 doctors. We've got some hospitals where you don't even have equipment to do the job you should do. Some of the x-rays are not working. But then we have some demands as well, where we have doctors who are being owed their medical residency training fund. And this is a national act. This money is meant for them to go for the exams. You know, we doctors, we live with exams. We write exams all the time for updates, for progress. And then it's not been paid for last year, and this is another year. And each time we talk to them about these things, and it's the same thing. We're looking into it, we try to fix it, and nothing has been done. Then the hazard allowance as well. Since 2021, we've not been paid the hazard allowance. That accumulated for a long time, and we talk to them about this, and they tell us that in the budget. And it is so sad that every other center has gotten this allowance paid, aside from we in FCTA. We've got doctors who wrote their exams, passed for the past 5 years, should be consultants by now, and they've not been made consultants. Their files are not even nowhere to be found. And so we have all this agitation, we have the skipping arrears, we have the accoutrement allowance, we have a lot of problems we're facing. Some of them we even try to ignore, but right now we are actually at a breaking point, and if we continue to keep quiet, the medical system in Abuja is going to be totally forgotten. All
right, for our viewers to understand, so resident doctors are those doctors in training to become consultants getting almost to the peak of their career. Residency sometimes take between 3 to 7 years to completion, and over time it looks you can only do your residency in approved medical facilities in the country. It then means that these are probably one of the most senior doctors, because they are almost getting there in the eve of being a full specialist, being called full consultants or specialists in their area of specialization. So they are specialists in training. They are perhaps one of those the consultants rely on. So there are a very huge gap between the doctors in the general practice and the consultants. So that is how important they are. Sometimes they are the ones that you see before you can see the consultant. So when they get on strike, there is a major collapse of the medical services in the country. It means that if you go to some departments in the hospitals, these are the guys that you meet, other than the doctors that you meet right when you get into hospital, that take your vitals and all that. These are your specialists who are in training. Am I right?
That's very correct. Let me just put it this way, that we're the foot soldiers.
Who gets the job done?